But maybe with a little practice, I could tell myself to relax it. Will be better next time I try. And even if I still can't do it, yeah, you know that I'm gonna stick to it. Yes, it's all about going through it, and I'm gonna tell you why. Whoopsie, whoopsies, I made a mistake and it's okay. It's okay. Whoopsies are what it takes to get better and better every day. Whoopsies, I made a mistake and it's okay. It's okay. Whoopsies, help me look, see, I'm better at this today. Woo! Whoopsies, whoopsie, whoopsie, whoopsies. I'm a little embarrassed when I look at my drawing compared to this. I'm just not getting anywhere with this. It makes me wanna hide. Aw, don't be embarrassed. Don't hide. You should have seen mine the first time I tried. It took a lot of whoopsies to look this way.
No one's perfect on their first day. Whoopsie.
Whoopsies, I made a mistake and it's okay. It's okay. Whoopsies are what it takes to get better and better every day. Whoopsie, 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 whoopsies.
Well, what about this? I want to jump rope, but nope, I just can't do it.
Well, not yet. Come on and practice with me. You'll see there's nothing to it.
Whoa! Whoopsie.
Whoopsies, I made a mistake and it's okay. It's okay. Whoopsies, help me look, see, I'm better at this today. Woo!
It was only a dream, the waves of evil crashing over us. It was only a weak and faithful scream beneath the battlements. I know it's hard, but for love, the fight's too hard. Wake up, my love, please don't give up on me. It's hard. Wake up.
What is up, you guys? We are back at it again. Another epic day here in 100 days of Rootkit. I hope y'all are excited to continue our journey. We are almost done. We are almost done. And it feels good. I hope y'all are excited, alright? I hope y'all are excited. So, let's just get into this, shall we? Let me go ahead and get this music set up. I think it was... Oh, excuse me. Whew. Oh, I felt the sneeze coming on. Let me go ahead and load up this chat here because I was a little slow. I was getting my coffee made because I need my coffee today. It's been a long day doing lots of cleaning. Lots of cleaning. So I feel pretty worn out. Alright, so we got the Twitch stream up and we got the YouTube one up. Perfect. All right, so let's get into it. If you guys don't know, we are a Rootkit nonprofit organization here in the US of A. Don't go to college, don't go to any other boot camp. You're already here, you're already watching. Continue watching and learn everything you need to know to get our certs. All right, get our comp sci cert and then we'll get you a job. It's that easy, right? You can learn about the benefits right here. On top of that, we have our final giveaway going on right now. Go over to the blog section of our site, click on the final giveaway, and enter to win. It's 100% free. Just click that green button, all right? And then there you go, you're entered to win. You can get more entries by subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on Twitch, etc., etc. We are doing 10 different winners this time, right? 10 different winners. So make sure you sign up, all right? Additionally, there's a link in the description of the video below. Make sure. Sorry, I thought I heard something on the audio. There's a link in the description of the video below, or if you're on Twitch, somewhere down below, that you can click on in order to donate. We are a charity, so 100% of your donations are tax deductible. Avoid your taxes. Donate today. When you donate, depending on how much you donate, you can unlock certain rewards, like our epic stickers, our collab t-shirt, and our epic sweater. All right. All donations are matched 1-for-1 for the first 10,000 donations. So every time you donate, it's like donating twice as much. And we have goals along the way, like streaming for 24 hours straight, shaving my head here live on stream, and shaving my beard, which no one wants to see, right? No one wants to see, so we don't need to worry about that. All right, that is our intro for the most part. Got a lot of tabs here I can go ahead and close out. Yes, we are using Edge. Yes, we are using Bing because we are trying them out. You as a dev should always be trying new things out, so we are trying out Bing Chat, and it's been absolutely amazing. I highly recommend it, right? Highly recommend it. So, today, we are going to continue our project and finish up the back end, right? We don't have too much to do. All we have listed here for us to do today would be user search, right? User search, which should be done pretty quickly. So this might be a shorter day. After we do user search, we're going to go ahead and look through our code. Maybe we'll do some documentation together. And then also changing of any names to kind of standardize things. Because again, when we're sprinting through and developing all this as quickly as we are on the stream, we tend to maybe not make the best names, miss comments, documentation, file names, organization. So it's always good to take a breather, pause, and reorganize a little bit, all right? So you can clean up after yourself in order to keep running, to keep sprinting, all right? Clean, spring cleaning, all right? Except do it, once every week, 2 weeks. If you go too long, you're gonna collect, again, what we talked about earlier, lots of tech debt, right? And eventually, you'll have to pay that debt off. If you don't, your development's gonna come to a crawl, all right? Now I need some coffee, all right? I need some coffee before we continue. So if you do have any questions, comments, or concerns before we start, go ahead and put them in the chats. I'm watching them. Oh, also, I am in the 100 Days of Rootkit voice chat right now. So go ahead and jump in there if you are a Patreon or volunteer or a Discord server subscriber. right? You can go and jump in there and ask your questions verbally at any time you'd like. Oh, that's so beautiful. All right, so those of you that are watching live, in order to build a little bit more hype and get more people on board for the giveaway, and also because I have some things going on that I need to go deal with, the last 3 days, aka today, should hopefully finish up all the back-end development. So the next 3 days, because we're kind of skipping the stretch roll right now, the next 3 days should be finishing up with the front end, all right? Finishing up with the front end. Those last 3 days are probably going to happen next week. I know. I wanted to go through and finish it by Friday, but we're gonna give it a pause, a breather. Take this time to explore what we did on the back end and maybe make the front end yourself. Go learn and see, if you are watching live up to this point, go see if you can make the front end to integrate with it in whatever methods you want to use, vanilla JavaScript, or with something like, I guess if you want to use PHP or React, Vue, Angular, whatever, right? Flutter. Take the time to explore, mess with things, right? All right, let me get another drink here before we continue. So beautiful. All right, so user search is our next item to do here. Now, there's a couple ways you can go about doing this. We're going to go about it the most simplistic way possible. Your database by default will have search mechanisms in place, all right? And they're very fast and very optimized because, again, it's utilizing those data structures we talked about, like trees and graphs, etc., etc. So we can take advantage of that, and it has pre-built functionality for finding similar things, right? For finding similar things, which we can exploit, right? Which we can exploit and use here in our code to make user searchability really easy. Yeah, and depending on how you want to do it, you could make a really lightweight version of it, which I think we're going to end up doing for doing autocomplete, because people like autocomplete. When you start typing on the search bar and it shows up people underneath that you may be trying to look for. So we're going to make a very basic version of that. So if there are no questions, let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm going to go ahead and start up our terminal here. And let's go ahead and do a git status, see what branch we're on. We're on feature auto tagging, so we need to git check out to dev. And let's do a git pull. We need to do a pull request here. So let's go ahead. This one, I know we're changing it up again. I'm changing it up not because this is normal, but just so you guys know and visually see over and over again, you can do both ways. Using the visual way is better in most use cases because you'll usually be working on a team. So let me go ahead and pull up the repo. That was weird. Why did that? Repo. There we go. All right, so we're going to go do a pull request, and we're going to move from feature and auto tagging over to our dev branch. There we go. We're going to create our pull request, add any reviewers, do our commenting, look at the file change, etc., etc., whatever your operating procedures are for this, and then we're going to click on merge request. We're going to merge that in, and now it's in dev. All right, it's in the dev branch. So if we go here, let's go and do our git pull to get all our changes here in the dev branch. And look at that, they are all in here now. And we're now ready to continue on. So let us move on with our journey here. The next thing we need to do is git check out to a new branch. And this is going to be feature search. I guess we could just say user search, just in case we wanted to do some type of other search mechanism later on. So let's go and grab this. We'll go and push it up so that way the branch is made on the remote server. And now we can chug along here. So user search, we should maybe put this, again, you can think about where this needs to go. It can go potentially many different places, maybe a /search endpoint. Maybe it's in its own search file. I think we could probably stuff it here inside of users, right? Let's see what we got in users. We got the me endpoint here. All right, I think we can put search, search in here because search is going to be searching users. All right, it seems like it should go in the users file here. It's going to be functionality you can use on the user endpoint. So let's go and just make it here. So let's go class, and then we can just say search because it's for searching in the users file. And here, let's go ahead and do our def init, and instead of typing all that out, let's just go ahead and grab this. We are going to be doing a get request because they're not posting, right? They're not adding, updating, like new data. They're just getting data. They want to get a result. They want to get result, and what is that result? The result is a list of users. So we're going to do a get request, and inside this get request, it's going to be very similar to getting a user, which we can pretty much just copy this code and then paste it right here. All right, this is going to be getting a user based off of their ID, aka me, myself. I'm going to get myself based off the authentication. We don't want to do that, all right? Ooh, again, that's why I got the coffee right now. Busy day. Instead, we want to get users based off of either their name, so username, not the user ID, and it will be the complete name or a partial name. So we need to find partial matches. So how would we go about doing that? Well, we talked about it a little bit in our database section. There is a command called like in a database, and it's where you can get things like a certain string, where it will do automatic matching to other items that are similar in nature. All right, similar in nature. Like me saying, hey database, I have a D and an O. What animal is like the word D and O? You may get results like dog, right? What's another animal that starts with a D and O? I don't know, but you'll get potentially anything that starts with a D and O. So let's go ahead and we can look through the docs, or we can go ahead and ask our good old boy here, Bing, to see what is going on. So let's do Python SQL alchemy, and we'll do a like request and see what it generates there. Or maybe we can do searching. Can use the like method in query filter to perform a SQL like statement. Here in his example below. Okay, so filter post tags like search. Okay, so posts on tags. Okay, I see. So here we're going to want to do, it looks like it would be user dot username dot like, and then here we would put the username. So we're going to need to get the query params, because again, that's how they're going to send us the data, is via query params. And I guess I'm missing a parenthesis now. I think it's right here. So here we need to fill in our query param. So I'm just going to say param. Oh, I think that's it. So that will give us our query params. And in there, we're going to say the username equals params dot get username. There we go. And if they didn't send us one, if username is none, we're going to go ahead and return. There we go. That's a perfect message. And if it is there, we're going to go and throw that in there. So this should get us a username that's similar to the one that we're entering in. And this is going, we want to change this from a scalar 1 to an all, so we get all results. We can change this, and maybe we can just do it right now, to also include limits. All right, so let's check in our post here, because I believe this is where we did our limits. So we can go ahead and grab this code, because we do want to do limits, just so we can have potential pagination, but also let's go ahead and put that, whoops, Query params. What is going on here? Query params. Copy, paste, paste. There you go. That way it's just similar naming. So we want to have a limit here also. So that way we can use this endpoint doubly. One for actually listing out a bunch of results for a proper search if that's something the front end devs want, or being able to use it for autocomplete, right? Being able to use it for autocomplete. So let's see here. We want limit, and we add limit by doing, here we go, a dot limit after the filter by. So let's do our dot limit right here. And this should be good, right? We're going to be getting a list of users now. So we need to convert that. So I think we have the logic here in post for doing that. So let's go ahead and grab that. And I guess we can do a check also for the search, just in case something goes wrong. There we go. And this is going to be the user now. You and user. There we go. And data to, we don't need that anymore. We just say data. There we go. So this should be our completed endpoint. Again, we're getting a GET request, and in the GET request, we're going to get the username or the partial the partial username that they're trying to search for. The limits, right? Limiting how many things we give back. We could change this to something smaller, maybe like 5. If they didn't give us the proper username, we're going to go ahead and give them an error, be like, hey, you got to give us a username. Then we're going to search for that user in the database, right? In the users table. And we're going to look for a username that is like the one that they gave us. We're going to limit it, right? So we don't get everything. And then we're just going to get all the results back, right? All the results back within that limit, of course. Then if something went bad on the database end, we're going to throw an error. But if not, we're going to change all those users to dictionaries and then put them all on a list and put them into data. Why is the typing not here working? This is variable user. This is going to be, that's why. This is going to be a list of user now. All right. So let's go ahead and see this in action, shall we? Let's go and load up Postman. And over here in user, we can go ahead and make a new endpoint. Oh, we actually, sorry, jumping the gun a little bit. We need to go over to main, right? And in here, by me, postings and likes, let's go ahead and do that. Oh, auto wrote it here for us. So we want user dot, no, it's dot search. And this we could then make, yeah, we could make it on the user endpoint here. You could also do a search endpoint. It's totally up to you, or you can do user slash search, or you can make it potentially a param here, and then just have it like search. It's totally up to you on how you want to go about it. We have a very simple application here, so I think I'm just going to put it as user, right? Just have it as user. So this should be about good. Let's go ahead and start up our server here. There we go. Let's run that and let's pull up our Postman once we see this launch successfully. Give me a second here to chug down some coffee. Let me go and check if there's any comments, questions, or concerns right now. So again, if you guys do have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. So user search is having a little bit of an issue. So this is in the user's file. Search, and we forgot to put resource in here. So let's go and put resource in here and go and restart it. There we go. We're up and running now. So let's go over to Postman and let's make our new endpoint here inside the users folder. Let's go ahead and add a request here. And this is going to be for URL slash user. All right, and if we run this right now, we should run into an issue where we, yep, there we go. Well, no username was provided because we didn't provide one. So let's go ahead and do username, and then let's give a username, maybe username just B, right? We don't know the full username, so we're just going to say B, and we get a beautiful, beautiful error. Filter by takes one positional argument, but two were given. Filter by. Did this just say filter? This just said filter. So let's go ahead and change this to filter. And let's go ahead and rerun this endpoint. That says filter by still, even though we changed, that's the wrong one. That makes sense. Let's change this one to filter. And rerun again. There we go. Chunked iterate results object has no attribute limit. So it doesn't like our limit right here. So what we can do is, I wonder if filter itself has a limit item. Let's see if we can maybe put it beforehand. I don't think this is gonna work, but it looks like we'd have to look more into the filter function, because most likely there's a way to add limit in there. Or maybe we can put it right here at the end of like. Let's just do some experimenting before we give up on it. Oh, looks like we are. It looks like it's working. We're getting a result back of nothing. I thought we had a user with the username of a B. Let's go and check the database here real quick. So we're gonna need dbeaver. Looks like it's not open. So let's go and open dbeaver and take a look at all of the users we currently made. I think we have like 2 or 3 different users. So let's check out their usernames and see if we can get one of them. And then we can also make some more users that have similar starting names, so we can kind of see how, you know, this kind of works. We'll close that. We'll update it eventually, one day. InstaClone tables and our user. And it looks like we have, I thought we had the Bobby, but maybe that was another one. We got Pony Lover and we got Q of C9. So let's go ahead and do a P. And I don't think it's cap sensitive. Maybe it is. So let's do a capital P. Doesn't look like it's being very happy with us. So the one thing is, I wonder if the limit is messing it up. So let's go ahead and remove the limit right here, just in case it's causing an issue. And let's rerun this. So it looks like we keep getting an empty array back. So I wonder if our statement here is having some issues. So username like username. And we're getting all the results. Is this being correct for user in users u.to to data? So it seems right. So maybe we'll go consult the docs a little bit, right? Maybe we'll go consult the docs a little bit. Let's do one more sanity check here, and let's just do it with a Q. A Q, and then let's change it to Q of C9, so it's an actual user that exists. Oh, that time we're getting something different. So toDict is throwing the error. It does not, so we're getting some type of result on that one, and it doesn't like this function on it. So let's go ahead and do some printing here, shall we? Let's go ahead and print our users. Let's start there. And let's go ahead and rerun this. All right, let's go ahead and see what we got down here. So we got user 2, user number 2. So user number 2, it looks like it might be in a tuple, which is interesting. So it's an array, which is then in a tuple. let's go ahead and do item 0 right here to see what result we get back. I don't remember it being like that for the other ones. So maybe it's one of these items that we have going on. We haven't used filter before, so maybe that's being a little weird. So we just ran that. So now we should see the array gone around it. Now it says it's in a tuple, which is very, very odd. So let's go ahead and do 0 again. And where is our postman? All right, let's go and see what we get here for a printout. And we're going to be getting user now. Interesting. Now can we do to dict? Let's go and run this again. All right, let's see what we got. Here we go. Now we're getting the user information. So a little weird, right? A little weird. It's too deep. All right, it's too deep, which I did not expect, but that's fine. We can go ahead and compensate for that. So we can go ahead and comment this out, and we're just going to need to, I'm not gonna put this in a loop like that. I'm gonna put it like this, users, and then for user, no, we could do something like that. Let's go ahead and do that, and we can say if users, and we want the length of it is equal to 0, then we can go ahead and return that. Otherwise, go do this. Then we can say in here, this is going to be a list of a tuple of an item. There we go. So we have the typing all correct. Let's go ahead and, I didn't have to stop that, but let's go ahead and rerun this. Come on, start up. There we go. And we should get the results now showing up, right? Let's see here. And there we go. We got our results showing up now. We still got a couple more little bugs though, all right? So we fixed that one, which I'm assuming is something weird going on because we're using the filter now instead of what we were using before. We can also do a sanity check here. We were already using all, so I just want to make sure it wasn't all that was potentially the issue. So this is a little bit of a weird behavior we haven't seen before, which we can consult the docs on, but it's an easy fix, right? It's an easy fix to remedy that. We are getting results, but we know with like, we should be getting results on partial matches. So QF should also get results, but it's not. So let's go ahead and consult the Bing chat again. Make it so it will find partial matches. Let's go ahead and do that and see what we get. Oh, maybe it's because we didn't. Sorry. This is an issue on me because we didn't do the proper syntax. So we kind of glossed over this. So right here is the like syntax. So let's just do MySQL, or what database are we using? I think the syntax for all of them are pretty much the same. We're using MariaDB like syntax. So there is a pattern in regards to, you know, what you want to match, because again, we're giving it something and saying match, but do you want it to match anything that's starting with that or ending with that thing, or anywhere in the word it has that, or do you only want one extra letter at the beginning or one extra letter at the end? So there's a lot of things that you can potentially do, and that's what we were missing here on our item. We were missing the parentheses, because the parentheses tell you exactly what side you should continue matching. So parentheses afterwards means try to match forever on that side anything. You can also do parentheses on both sides. When you do that, that means that you want to match anything on both sides. The word just has to have an ES somewhere, right? An ES somewhere. This is going to be, you want to match anything with these exact 1, 2, 3 characters at the beginning of it, aka a 6-character day name, right? So you don't care what's in front as long as it's only matching other items that have exactly 3, right? So there's a bunch of little syntax items you can mess with and do in here. And I guess there's some references here for optimization. So let's go ahead and modify our statement here a little bit, because we need to do username, and we want to do a %sign afterwards, right? %sign afterwards. So now when we search, we should see results. And look at that. We say QF and we get predicted results for QFC9. We can also say something like P, and now see we get Pony Lover showing up. If we create some more users here, so let's go ahead and go to login and not post login, sorry, sign up, and let's add some more users. Let's add a user called Potato Lover, and let's make another one called QF20 or 30, and then let's also make something, no, we'll just go like that. So now if we go over to the user endpoint that we just made for searching up users, and I guess we should give this a name, search users. Now when we search, you're going to see that we get multiple, we're supposed to get multiple results. We're only getting one result. QFC 30, very interesting. This might be another bug that we're running into. So let's go ahead and check this out. Length is equal to 0. All right, so we got more than that. This is only doing the first item. Oh, that's why. That's why, because this should be, we should be changing it like this. There we go. That should fix it. Because it's putting this second part into a tuple, so we just need to extract it out of the tuple. We were just only getting the first result that showed up when we have the 0 right here. So we just got to change our 0 to right here. So let's go ahead and rerun this, and there we go. Now we get both our results. We get both users in here because they both start with a Q. Now if we go to QF, you'll see we get both of them again because they both start with a Q and an F. Now when we do C, you'll see that we only get QFC9. So we have a way to search up users, right, and get the exact user we want, but also, you know, if we have a search bar, they can go about searching and getting like having an auto search or the drop down, the auto predict box. Oh, I don't know why that was so hard for me. I need to drink more coffee. All right, give me 1 second. That will help with the brain a little bit. All right. So same thing if we do a P here, we'll get the Pony Lover and the Potato Lover. If we do an O afterwards, we're going to get the same results because they both start with a P and an O. And then if we diverge and do a T, you'll see now we only get Potato Lover and not the Pony Lover. All right. One last thing we should potentially do is make it so we can look up users, one more endpoint so we can look up users, directly based off their ID. All right, directly based off their ID, because it's going to help with the website and showing up, showing potential like profiles. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to make one more endpoint in here. All right. So we got search. We could, if we wanted, make it a part of search. I don't really like that too much, so we're just going to call this new class get by, and this is where we're going to hold, you know, you can get someone by an ID or one by one, like specifically get them by their username. Oh, it looks like it's already It auto wrote it all for us. All right. So you can get someone by a username or by an ID, right? Is none. And so this is just doing a check, like one of them have to be there, right? One of them have to be there. So this is going to do one thing, you know, username if they were doing a username, or if they wanted to do user ID, it's going to do a user ID, and then it's going to return the result. So this auto wrote it perfectly here for us. So let's go ahead and go to main, and let's copy, paste, get by, and we're going to do this with, I feel like this would be nicer with this user identify user thing, because it could be a user ID or a username, because what the request is basically going to look like is type equals, we can make it so it's like type equals ID, or type equals name. We're just going to say user, right? So this time we're going to show off path parameter. So it's going to be user, and path parameters are going to show up here, right, in our function. So if we say user, right, it's going to show up right here, and it's going to be plugged in there. So we don't need to do these types of query params. The only query param we need to do is query param for type. So they're going to tell us whether they want it as a type ID or a type username, and we can always have it default to one or the other. So we'll just have it always default to ID, right? I want to change this from user to something else. I don't like just user. I'm just gonna have it as user ID, as what it's always gonna be. User ID type. These have to match. These two have to match in order for things to work properly, because it's being passed through directly. So now for our if statement here, we're still going to use this, but we're always guaranteed to have this if they hit this endpoint. So I guess we could just do a simple valid check here. If the user ID, well, it could be, yeah, we're just going to skip that check for now. For this, we're going to go based off of user ID type is going to be equal to, and this first one's going to be for username, as it says right there. So we're going to change this to username. So if the user ID type is username, then this is going to be here, and this is going to be here. Else, we're going to do this second one, right? And we can just change this. Well, else if, so we can go ahead and do this ID. There we go. So we just modified this real quick so that they can pass through the some type of user ID, user identification, whether that's the ID itself or the username. They can pass either one, and then they can leave a query param called type to specify whether they want it to be, or whether what they're passing is an ID or a username, right? So based off what they've specified, we're going to do try to do a result search here, and then return the result. We can also go ahead and do a check here if user is none. There we go, and we can go ahead and try this out. So over here in user, we're going to do a request, and this is a get request for getting a specific user, right? Because we're going to get a specific user based off some type of identification. All right, so we're going to say user slash, and then we got to put in what identification we want to use here. So we know potato lover is called potato lover, so let's try to get them by name. So we can say this, but we didn't specify that we want to search by username. By default, it's going to use the ID. So this is going to run into an issue when we run it, and this ran into a 404. Did we save our main.py? We did. Is our server running? 404 user potato lover. This should be working. It looks like the server just restarted. Let's go ahead and rerun this again and see if it's functioning now. User potato lover. What's going on here? Why are you not cooperating? Let's go and close this and restart our app here, just in case it's a little bug with Flask. All right, we'll run through every little one of these steps just to validate. And still 404, potato lover, get by, user / user ID. Why you gotta be like this? Why you gotta be like this? So let's go ahead and do, if this is too much of an issue, we'll just do a compromise for now. But let's go ahead and do Python SQL Alchemy. Not SQL Alchemy, Flask RESTful. Is that what the library is called? Flask RESTful. And we want the endpoint with URL. Wait, sorry. Endpoint with variable. Yeah, we used add resource. All right. Oh, it's brackets. Brackets are where we're missing. So let's change this from this. I'm just used to thinking of format strings to brackets. All right, and we can do typing. We can't really type this because it can be an integer or a string. All right. So I guess we could type it to an integer or string, but let's go ahead and move on. This should hopefully fix our issue here. So when we run this, there we go. Now we're actually executing the code and we're on to a different issue. All right, our issue here is going to be caused by no row was found when one was required. And this is an error because it's using this string as an ID and it's coming up with no results. All right, which means that we need to handle our error here. Again, when this is not running in debug mode, let me go and turn off debug mode, and I think we have to turn it off on the main.py also. You will not be getting the tracebacks anymore, which is important for when you're actually running this more live. There we go. You're going to get a 500 error, internal server error. Right? This is what's going to happen when you're not on debug mode. So you don't need to worry about people seeing into your code. They still won't be able to, and it's kind of being handled, but ideally we want to handle it ourselves if possible in a more elegant manner. So let's go ahead and modify our code right here for get by, and put all this in a try and highlight, and then we can go ahead and put this in an accept, and there we go. Perfect. User not found. Now when we go and run this, we're going to see we should get the user not found. But if we go in here on key and type in type and change this to the username, we will get the user now. Right? Now we can specifically get a user that we require. The more important thing is the ID here. So if I go and say I want user ID of 3, there we go. I get potato lover. If I want user ID of 2, we get Q of C9. If I want of number 4, there we go. We get QF30. So this will directly get us them based off their ID or username. The username one isn't as useful. It's more of get by ID. That's really, really useful for us here. Because again, our posts, when we get posts and see who's been posting what, that will have the user ID. So we can directly resolve that user ID to a user with this endpoint on the front end. If you might have missed this, your front end devs will let you know that they need this. All right, they might be a little bit mad at you, but it's all right. Learning experience, right? Sometimes we forget things, right? Alrighty, any questions on that? Let's go ahead and do our git add all, git commit, added searching, and direct user lookup. Git push, and wham bam, we have our endpoints, man. What questions, comments, or concerns do you guys have? Like I said, kind of a shorter day today. We can go ahead and check off user search. Over the final 3 days, we're going to be doing front end only. We're going to be utilizing our front end. All right. We're going to be utilizing our front end. We're going to be hooking this up to our front end so we can see it fully connected. Now, again, we're going to be using HTML, JavaScript. You don't have to. This could be communicating to another service, right? Another service directly. It doesn't have to go to a website, right? We're just going to make it go to a website because pretty visuals, right? Some pretty visuals, right? Any questions, comments, or concerns? All right, if there are none, we'll call that a day. If you do have any after the fact, go ahead and ask them here in the 100 days of Rootkit chat, and I'll get to answering them. All right, that's all I got for you guys for today. So see you guys on the next one.